For my video editing, I switched back to PC from Mac, and here's why. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much once again joining me for tea time. Today we have a little bit of fireside. That smokiness of the lap sewing is so good, so good. I hope you're joining me with your cup of tea, maybe a cup of coffee, hanging out, talking tech, talking photo, talking video. Today is a tech day. So today, as you can see in the title, I am switching back, or I already have switched back to PC from Mac. And it's really upsetting to me because I am a Mac guy ever since the beginnings of Mac. I had an Apple II, I had an Apple II Plus, I even had a Franklin Ace 1000, which was a clone of an Apple. I am an Apple guy at heart, but over the years, I've kind of migrated away from Apple, then back to Apple, then away from Apple and back to Apple. Well, the premise of a previous video that I did, it was entitled something like how to find the best online deals for tech or something like that. And in the video, I highlighted buying a brand new MacBook Pro, which was going to replace a MacBook Air that was 13 years old. Now, people will be like, 13 years old, that's an old laptop. And it was. Originally, that MacBook Air did everything. It was able to play games like Minecraft, the kids used it. But as the years went by, it ended up being like the family computer. Even though everyone else had their own computer, that computer would sit in the living room, and anytime anyone wanted to do some research on something, maybe a little report, or maybe they wanted to look something up or buy something over on Amazon, God forbid, but we do. It ended up being that type of workhorse, and it did a fantastic job, and it is still working today, which is amazing. But of course, there is planned obsolescence that goes on with Apple products, and once it gets to a certain age, you cannot update the OS, and then it becomes less and less useful because why? They want you to buy a new version. So this is what we were doing. I ended up saying, well, I'm going to move into another Apple laptop because I like the Apple laptops, even though I do like PCs for other things. But the Apple laptops are just simple, easy. They work great, right? So I said, you know what? I'm going to buy one of the new silicon Apple laptops. I was going to go with either an M1 or an M2, but normally I do not go with a latest and greatest of anything because I don't want to pay full fare for anything. I'd rather get one revision back, and I'm good with that. It doesn't have to be absolutely spanking new because normally there's not that big of a difference between a year, let's say. Sometimes there is, but a lot of times there's not. I figure we're gonna get the new silicon and we'll be good. And that's exactly what I ended up buying. So the main goal of this computer was not necessarily to be a family computer, but to be my computer that I can use in studio as well as out of studio when I'm traveling. So if I need to edit video, I need it to be powerful enough to be able to edit my videos on the go. So the MacBook Pro, not Air this time, but the MacBook Pro is the one that we ended up going with. So instead of going with 8 gigabytes of RAM, knowing that I need to do video editing, I ended up upgrading it to a 16 gigabyte of RAM. And instead of the 256 gig of hard drive space, I went with a terabyte. Once again, to give it a little bit of breathing room. So if I wanted to download a whole bunch of apps, I could. If I wanted to store some things on the computer itself, I could. Normally, I don't do that anyways. I store everything on an external drive, and the computer stays kind of virgin. Only thing on there is basically documents and, of course, the applications, and that is it. It keeps it fresh and it doesn't get too overloaded. So normally I go with a refurbished Apple because they just give you the best bang for your buck. They've already been gone over a couple of times. The QC or the quality control is there because once again, they went over it a few times, and then I'll get the extended warranty and I'll still save a couple of bucks. But this time I found a really great deal over on B&H Photo and Video, and it was for the exact computer that I was looking for, which is the Apple MacBook Pro M1 with that 16 gig and 1 terabyte. So I ended up buying it. And instead of paying the $2,000 retail fare for it, I ended up only paying $1,200 for it. Brand new. So it was a really good deal. And that's what that video was all about. So I have this computer. Matter of fact, here it is. right? So it is beautiful. It has a lot of great features to it. I really like it as a laptop. And then, of course, besides the Apple laptop, I said, well, I want to use it in studio, right? I want to replace my PC, if I can, with this, because all of the reports that I got on this brand new Apple Silicon is that if you use it with DaVinci Resolve, and that's what I used to use Final Cut, I used to use Premiere, all kinds of other things, and I ended up going with DaVinci Resolve. The reason being, and the reason why I went with it and many other editors have gone with DaVinci Resolve, is because even when you edit with Final Cut or you edit with Premiere, you must always bring it back into DaVinci Resolve to do your color grading, because it just does color grading just amazingly. And as their editor became better and better and better, people like myself have migrated over to DaVinci Resolve for doing everything. So it's like a one-stop shop instead of having to move things back and forth, which is kind of a pain in the ass. You don't want to do it. So since I wanted to use the new MacBook Pro as the main editing computer going forward instead of my 6-year-old PC, as a point of reference, my 6-year-old PC is an AMD setup. It's an AMD Ryzen 7. It's a 1700. It's got 8 core in it. It's a 3.8 gigahertz processor. It also has 32 gigs of RAM, and it has the NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1070 video board in it. So that's basically it. Well, my goal once again was to replace that 6-year-old setup with the brand new MacBook Pro. And I ended up buying one of these, right? Which is the Anchor. Now, I don't know if you guys know what these are. This thing is like a docking station. This dock is amazing because you have HDMI, you have power coming in, you have full connection here. Can you see that? Is this thing going to focus? Anyways, right here, you have your Ethernet, because that's important to me. I don't really like wireless as much as just actually having a hard wire. And then on the back side of this, you have your ports that go across it. You have audio, you have a bunch of USB 3s, and then of course here, you have your SD slot. So this is this is probably one of my favorite docks for the money. Matter of fact, down below, I will put a link to this because this is freaking awesome. At the same time, I ended up buying one of these. Now, I don't know if you can see it. Hopefully you can. This is the Crucial. I love these. These are fantastic. This is a 2 terabyte Crucial. Why is it not focusing? Anyway, so this is what I edit on. I don't edit on the computer. All of the data stays on here. These are super, super fast, and it just simply works. So these are just mission critical if you're going to edit on a laptop, in my personal opinion. And then I went with one of these. Now this right here is the Logitech. Let me see if it's going to focus. Will it focus? It does. This is the Logitech. This is a G502. Now I have right here the wired version of it, and this right here is the wireless version. Reason being is obviously for a laptop, this just simply works out better. Now people will be like, well, why do you got 2? Why would you buy this, right? Why would you get the same one? Why don't you just use a Mac? This thing is just awesome. It has 14 buttons on it. So for video editing, you cannot beat this. Okay, this is hands down the best mouse for video editing out there, period. That's my personal opinion. I wouldn't use anything else. Anyways, so I ended up purchasing all of this stuff so that I can video edit on the MacBook Pro M1. And then I went and installed DaVinci Resolve on the MacBook, and then also did all of the installation of all of the setup. So in DaVinci Resolve, I moved over everything. I moved over all of my video settings, all of my editing settings. I moved over my keyboard shortcuts, basically everything. So it will be just a simple process to move from my PC over to the Mac. Everything is there. Nothing changes. I can just edit right away without having to relearn something. Okay, so all of that was done. And then what I ended up doing was I created an 18-minute video. And that video I edited on the Mac, DaVinci Resolve, and then I moved it over to the PC. So they were identical on both computers, just to test it out to see how long will it take to render? How long will it take to do X, Y, and Z? How long will it take to do stabilization? How long will it do all the rest of the stuff, right? So I did that and I did my tests. And lo and behold, Apple failed me. So the 18-minute video that we exported, we rendered, ended up taking 10 minutes and 26 seconds to export. Whereas on my 6-year-old Ryzen setup, that 18-minute video ended up taking 5 minutes and 46 seconds. I mean, it's almost half the time on the 6-year-old PC. That is pathetic. So I ended up doing this. I said, you know what? Maybe for some reason, the Apple's having a hard time with all of the titling and all of the color grading and all of the extra stuff that's going on, all this special effects, okay? So I deleted all of it off the timeline. And on the MacBook, I only rendered the audio track and the single video track. Nothing else. It's doing nothing besides that. How long did it take? 8 minutes and 54 seconds. 8 minutes, 54 seconds. That's with nothing. One audio track, one video track, and that is it. Whereas on the PC, once again, 6 years old, in 5 minutes and 46 seconds, it did the whole damn thing. I didn't even bother even trying to render just the single tracks on the PC because obviously it's going to be faster than the 5 minutes. It's just crazy. This old ass PC is twice as fast as the brand new silicon in the Apple MacBook Pro. Now, I know, guys, there's going to be a whole hell of a lot of you guys saying, hey, you're not being fair. Apple Silicon is specific to certain certified, authorized software that uses the silicon. Yes, you are right. You are 100% right. And if I was to do the test using Final Cut, maybe it's going to be faster. It possibly could be faster. But I don't use Final Cut. And the majority of us editors today, check it out there, you will find out the majority of editors are now using DaVinci Resolve. So what we'll have to do is wait for DaVinci Resolve's code to catch up with Apple Silicon. Now this has been already a year plus, right? And they haven't caught up yet. So moving forward, there is no way for me to use this Apple MacBook Pro. It's just not possible. It's half the speed. Twice as slow. However you want to deem it, I need to go faster, not slower. So I'm going to end up using this computer where I just absolutely love it. I mean, I love Apple laptops. Don't get me wrong. I love them. They are awesome. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to use it for writing my book. I'm going to use it for surfing the web. I'm going to use it for this type of things, and that is it. It's not going to be used for editing unless I go on location or I'm off-site someplace on a trip or who knows where, and I need to do some type of editing and I need to do it while I'm away. And I will use this for that. But that's it. I can't use it here in studio because it's too damn slow. And that's upsetting to me because I really had just big hopes and dreams and aspirations, let's say, for this MacBook Silicon nonsense that I've heard over and over and over and how fast the damn thing is. And come to find out, it's just simply not. It's just not. So the skinny of it is I'm moving back to a 6-year-old Ryzen setup in comparison to the brand new 1-year-old MacBook Pro M1 because it's just simply faster than the Apple. And that is all that there is to it. Now, if I could do it all over again, if I didn't need a new laptop, I would probably have taken that $1,200 and either put it into renoing my current AMD setup, my PC, or building a new PC from scratch. Because for $1,200 to $1,500, you can build an extremely fast PC, whereas you cannot do that with a Mac, as we know. Matter of fact, this 6-year-old PC that I'm using that is twice as fast as this brand new Apple MacBook Pro was built at about $1,700 cost. $1,700. That was it, 6 years ago. So some of the parts are cheaper, some of the parts are more expensive, but I could definitely build a really good PC today for $1,500. Anyways, these are my thoughts. I want to know your thoughts. What do you think about all this? I'm kind of saddened by it because I really wanted to use this. That's why I bought all of the tchotchkes, all of the stuff to be able to do it. And come to find out, it's just slow as a dog. And that is it. Anyways, guys, if you enjoyed this video, as I always say, throw it a thumbs up. That would be helpful. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not already. Click this little button so when I go live or when a new video comes out, you'll be notified of it immediately. If you want to say thank you for all of my hard work, there's a thank you button right down there. Click it. Give $1 or $2 if you would like. If not, that's fine too. Consider becoming a member of the channel. Also, I have free ebooks for you. If you haven't downloaded any, why the hell not? Go check them out. Go over to JCristina.com/books. Once again, JCristina.com/books. And finally, head over to my website, JCristina.com, where you can find all the photography tools I've invented for you and me over the years. And hopefully there's something there that you might like. And if there is, please pick it up and support me and my family. That's it. We'll see you in the next one. Love you all. Take care.